Agraria, industry I had explained. Fused, diffracted, and what is the other thing? Prismatic society I have explained. Just see the diagram. This I had now put in. So this is fused, okay? Fused is all the organizations here are fused in nature. All so one structure does different kind of functions. Polyfunctionalism. So here polyfunctionalism is there. So see, ascription based identity, particularism is there, and functional diffusion. That is the functions. So one structure does multiple functions. Here in diffracted, you see it is going through this kind of a society, a prism, and it is getting specific. So achievement based universalism, that means law applies to everybody regardless of their identity, and then functional specialization. Okay, diffracted in the sense the institutions are diffracted, different functions they are doing. So have specialized functions. Each institution has specialized function. Now in this prism, so this is how the light is getting in, and light is going in a different direction. We studied this under light in physics, right? So the identity is on the basis of attainment. Selectivism, for selected people, law is universal. For selected people, it is not universal. It is according to caste, creed, religion, the amount of capital one has, according to that. And there is something called polyfunctionalism. So within this, some are like this, some are like this. So within this, the arrangement, structurally, the arrangement is like this, but functionally, it is somewhat like this. Like a prism, anything is going on inside it. So fused, prismatic, and diffracted. Okay? This I had explained. Collect formation I had explained. Club and sect. Bazaar canteen model I had explained. Formalism. From here, Salacracy I have explained. Basically, it is saying what? This is the bureaucracy of which kind of society? Prismatic society. Okay? Bureaucracy of prismatic society. What kind of characteristics will it have? All characteristics of prismatic society? If the administration is in that society, the qualities of that society will be within the administration. What approach is this? Ecological approach. Yes, this is ecological approach. This is ecological approach. Now you all remember till here. Till here, things are clear. That why, how these things are happening. Now, another feature in prismatic society is the separation of authority from power. Now, you all know some institutions have authority, but they cannot exercise power. Some institutions have no power, but they still can exercise authority. Yes? Now, for example, you must have heard or seen in movies that police might come in front of the minister's house but will go back. They have power to arrest that person, but they fear the consequences. Okay, so authority is there, but exercise of power is not there. Yes, so authority is there, but exercise of power is not possible. At some times, that minister does not have any formal power over the police. Okay, does not have any formal power in the sense that means what is formal power? Authority. So legitimate exercise of power is authority. We studied this under Weber. Yes. Now, because there is no formal power or let's say authority, but still the minister is exercising some form of influence over there, and they are fearing to arrest the minister. This means what? Minister has no authority but is exercising power. Police has authority but is not able to exercise power. So there is a separation between authority and power in a prismatic society. So, according to Riggs, prismatic societies are characterized with imbalanced politics or unbalanced politics. Basically, one feature of imbalance is this: power and authority are separated. Second, the most importantly, what Riggs is saying, unbalanced polity means a system where bureaucracy is either dominant or subservient in relation to politics. India and Sri Lanka are exceptions to this. This is Riggs is saying at that time. Their exceptions or not, that is according to Riggs, not according to us. Such societies or countries are the ones that became newly independent. Let's read it out and then we'll discuss. The politics was new. Wait, I'll explain first. Then we'll read. Basically, when the national movement was happening, was there politics going on in India? Going on in India, of course, a lot of national leaders, starting from Dadabhai Naoroji to Jawaharlal Nehru, we saw a lot of national leaders, Congress, Muslim League, other leagues, etc., etc. This means what? Politics was there in India. When the British were ruling, there were Indian politicians who were part of legislative councils. Yes, elections were happening in India. Government of India Act 1919, 1935, all of these things, Indians were being elected to the houses. Now, that means what? Indians or the politics in India had experience of running the country even before we became independent. So it was a very important transition. Basically, what happened was in most of the countries which became independent after colonialism, there the local politicians or politicians of those nations did not have any prior political experience. So they did not know how to control the administration, how to control the military, etc., etc. So most of the times what used to happen was military used to take over in most of the cases. Military used to take over and administration exercised much more power as compared to politicians. But in India, it is opposite. Politicians have much more power than administrators. Yes. Now, why is this? This means if politicians, let me draw a graph of representative democracy. Representative democracy, ठीक है? People, politics, administration. So people are choosing politicians. Politicians are controlling administration. Administration is serving the people. Okay. This relation, when this relation is going on in a stable manner, this is the graph. But so in India, this is the graph. Politicians are powerful. They know how to control the administration, and administration they make sure administration works for the people. Or however the administration acts is actually according to politics. If politician wants administration to work well, administration will work well. If the politicians are corrupt, administration will be corrupt. Very much is dependent on what kind of politicians are being chosen. Now, this is a feature of balanced polity. That means politics is controlling administration. This is a feature of balanced polity. India is a balanced polity according to you. Yes, because politicians control the administration. There is no military rule in India. In some countries, what happened was this relation was not like this. Administration was so powerful, it used to exercise power even over politicians. That means that's a problem. There is no balance in a representative democracy. That means democracy cannot function. That is why authoritarianism came in these countries. Usually, military administration took over, military rule was imposed. Yes? Okay. You understand what unbalanced polity and balanced polity now means? Not necessarily. Unbalanced means the politics is not controlling the administration. The politics was new and immature in these newly independent countries, not India and Sri Lanka. These are exceptions according to Riggs. Politics was new and immature, while the bureaucracy was organized, systematized because of colonial administration. Yes? So colonial administration was there, colonial administration continued in India, but India has strong political background. That is why they controlled the administration. So basically, politics was new and immature, and the colonial administration was systematized, which continued. In most cases, military bureaucracy took over. In most cases, in the case of India, political maturity was there, and in the Indian context, politics was superior. Though superior, but the bureaucracy enjoyed an autonomous character. Yes, that means bureaucracy was autonomous, and India was a balanced polity, so politicians had some control over the bureaucracy. Therefore, a balanced polity continued in India. Understood? What balanced polity and unbalanced polity means, you understand now. Now, Riggs, of course, developed that fused, that prism, and diffracted. Imagine that graph, that kind of society Riggs developed. Now, continuing that, he comes up with an additional dimension, two dimension. Uh, Basically, differentiation and coordination. Coordination or integration, whatever. I'll show you the graph first. See, agraria, industria, in between, developing, transition society. Yes, yes. Always remember that agraria, transition, that is much more easier. See, this side is fused, this side is diffracted. Okay. Here means integrated, here means malintegrated. First, let's read the literature. See, till now we know, according to that graph, that institutions are differentiated. Here it was one, in Prism there was everything mixed, and here it was diffracted. He introduced a new dimension called integration. Integration is the new dimension. How well integrated are those different societies are? For example, these Industria had this, not Industria, diffracted society has many these different. That means how well is the coordination between all of them? Because if every unit is working in silos, working in different direction, that does not mean development is happening. That does not mean modernity. What is required was how well they are integrated. Understood? See that graph again and be very clear. How well these things are integrated with each other. Understood? That determines what is the level of development. Remember just this, then we'll see. Okay, in fused society, what is happening in fused society? Is it differentiated? No, it is just one box. Yes, there is no difference, no differences. One is doing everything. That means it is not even differentiated. So there is no question of coordination coming because one is doing anything that they want to do. It is very arbitrary in nature. Yes, diffracted society. There is high differentiation. That means, so let's say this is the prism. This is fused. Light is going here. High diffraction and good coordination between them. For example, the police authority has good contacts. Good contacts means good coordination with the forensic authority. Forensic authority, all of them have good contacts with the justice department. Okay, justice department has good coordination with prison systems. So that means criminal justice system is very good here. Here, there is no differentiation like this. There is only one office that takes care of everything. Criminal justice department they have. There is nothing. I mean, there is no coordination because everything is arbitrary. There is nothing. Nothing is laid down very well. Okay? That means in a good industrialized society, in a good diffracted society, coordination is very well. That means the term he uses is integration. Here, there is no integration. Here, there is full integration. Here, the question is everything is mixed match. Okay. In prismatic societies, differentiation is there, but inadequate integration. That means malintegration. Justice department is hand in glove with the police department. For example, both are corrupt. Forensics department does not work. Prison systems are broken. This is the example of what? Prismatic society. Okay? Malintegration. So it is more and more dangerous because nobody is responsible to anybody. There is no coordination happening. Either there is integration, opposite of that is malintegration. That you have these different systems, but they are not working together. That is also a problem. See. Riggs initially used a single dimension, that is differentiation or diffraction, explaining social development. He later added integration as a second crucial dimension. Okay. X-axis. This refers to the degree of specialization of structure and functions within a society. A highly differentiated society has many distinct institutions. Understood? Integration. This refers to the level of coordination, communication, and harmony among these specialized structures. Again, same graph, imagine good coordination is happening. As we go from here to here, coordination is increasing, diffraction is increasing. Here to here, coordination is decreasing, diffraction is increasing. That means India must, or a developing country might be here with lot of different departments, but maladministration, malintegration. Here, lot of different departments are there, very good integration, developed society. So this side is a fused society, this side is a differentiated society. We are moving from here to here. Are you able to understand? Either integration is not happening, even though differentiation is happening, integration is not happening. Here, differentiation, integration is happening. Yes? This graph you understand? Any doubts till now online? The camera, my shirt is having some effect. Yeah, it's showing a different pattern. Fused society, low differentiation automatically. These are just literature you have understood. Fused society is not explicitly shown in simplified graph above, but would be on the far left. Far left. Okay. They have very low differentiation, meaning a single structure performing many functions. King acts as the lawmaker, judge, and the military commander. Same office. Since there are few specialized parts, the need for complex integration is minimal. There is no need for integration. Prismatic society and diffracted society. This is our level of comparison. High differentiation, low integration. Rick's most important contribution represents developing countries in this one. These societies have a high degree of differentiation, often because they were imported from modern specialized structures from the West. Example, a parliament, modern bureaucracy, formal justice system. So we have got this, we have got this from outside. We have borrowed it in the country from outside. What kind of sources are they? Exogenetic sources. What is the opposite of this? Endogenetic. Exogenetic means we have borrowed it from outside, and endogenetic means we have ourselves organically created it. Now, in this situation, there will be further explanations by the different scholars who will say because these developing countries have themselves not developed these institutions, that is why malintegration is there. Because these countries that are newly independent, colonial countries or colonial masters brought these level of differentiation here, but there is no integration. Yes, are you able to understand? Same problem we face in India. So they suffer from low integration. The newly created specialized structure do not coordinate well with each other or with the traditional parts of society. The mismatch or malintegration is the root cause of key problems in prismatic society. Now you see that India being a developing country, why we face so many problems. So whenever writing such answers, you can bring this perspective of Fredericks, that of malintegration of differentiated society. Why did you come here? Okay. So prismatic society will have prismatic characteristics, or prismatic administration will have prismatic characteristics. So we have formalism. We discussed formalism, that there is a wide gap between what is actually written in law and what is actually preached in law, or what is actually practiced in law. Then there is overlapping. Modern institutions exist. Example, the Supreme Court exists, but at the same time, khap panchayats also exist. Yes. Then there is corruption, nepotism that we see in the developing countries. Okay. Diffracted society, everything is opposite. High differentiation and high integration. Okay. This represents an ideal modern developed society. Example, the USA in Rick's model. Yes. Ah, these things I have explained. Let's move on. So these were the three things that were going on. Na? Hmm. This is the x-axis. So integration is higher here. Malintegration is happening. Malintegration, integration. Okay. EU, ortho, and the next will be neo. Okay. It means it's the earliest phase of society. For example, EU, ortho. Where do you think a developing country will be? Developing. Ortho. Because developing is in middle, ना? हाँ. तो यहाँ fused होगा. Right? Yes. So EO means early or initial stage. Okay. The EO prismatic society. A society that has just begun the process of differentiation. It is still very close to traditional fused model. There are three levels in a prismatic society. Here it is closer to fused. Here it is closer to differentiated. That means it is completely differentiated. A society that has just begun the process of differentiation, it is still very close to traditional fused model. EO diffracted society. Okay. Sorry, this is EO prismatic. Na? This will be prismatic. This is diffracted. Yes? Because in prismatic, malintegration is there. Here, integration is there. Diffracted and prismatic. See, here it will be clear. EO diffracted, ortho diffracted, neo diffracted, EO prismatic, ortho prismatic, neo prismatic. All of you are understanding this graph? See. So EO prismatic, EO prismatic, EO diffracted. Okay. Initial phases of diffraction happening. And here diffraction is happening, but there is no integration happening. It is all the question about integration now. Yes, because differentiation is like this, integration is here or here. EU diffracted, a society that has just achieved a balance of high differentiation and integration. It represents an early modern state that has successfully coordinated its newly specialized institution. Understood? Let's, ortho is the middle explanation of that. Let's see what it says in neo. Neo-prismatic. That means here, this one. A more advanced prismatic society, perhaps one that is undergoing very rapid differentiation and facing new, more complex challenge of integration. An example would be India. Yes, neo-diffracted, a postmodern or highly advanced industrial society. It may be developing new forms of specialization and coordination in response to globalization, technology, complex pressures. Okay, new form of emerging technologies, etc., etc. So it will be what? 1, 2, 3. It will be somewhere like Korea, China, Japan. Okay, this kind of society. In some sectors, India is like them, but in some sectors, India is like this. India would be more of a EU diffracted, and this. Sorry, ortho, prismatic, and diffracted. Mostly, India will be prismatic. So, you understand what Rix is trying to say? This integration, this whole explanation is of integration. Once you understand, you don't have to go through all the literature. It will be very easy for you. Okay? So you understand this two theories of Riggs. One is three theories per se. One is what? What is the first one? not ecological. He has used the ecological approach. What is the first model he gave? ये सब डायरेक्टली क्वेश्चन में आएगा कैसे रिक्स का मॉडल इवॉल्व हुआ है. Yes, agraria, industria, and transitia. Then, what was the problem there? The problem was there was no explanation of the administration. Yes. Then, what came to solve this? What came? Prismatic, fused, and diffracted. What is that administrative system of the prismatic society? Salacracy. Salacracy. Then, what new dimension he brought in? Integration is the new dimension. So, what are these two dimensions that he ended with? So, two dimension. Differentiation and integration. ना? कि differentiation x axis में है, integration y axis में. Yes. All of you are clear till now? Online? All the models you have understood. Any questions ask or clear? ठीक है. Okay, okay. So till now, you have understood this ecological approach. Okay, we'll read certain different theorists under ecological approach and what they have to say about these models, these developments of comparative public administration. Okay, so what is ecological approach till now, according to your understanding? That means basically nothing is watertight. Everything is influenced by its environment, that is, or its ecology. That is ecological approach. It's not only related to administration. This is a methodology of studying something. It can be applied everywhere. Understood? Okay. Ecological approach to administration is what you had explained now. The ecological approach to administration gained significant traction after World War II. Okay. First emerged in 1940s. So there was a guy named John Goss. John Goss, he was the pioneer of this approach. He brought this on. But it was made famous by Fred Riggs. Fred Riggs will use that in his administrative models and make it famous. There are other famous other guys or other scholars who use this approach. Nimrod Raffaelli, Dwight Waldo, Roy McCready's, but among them the most famous is Fred Riggs. Yes, and this approach posits that no administrative system operates in isolation. That means they're taking in from ecology. Instead, it is deeply integrated and continuously influenced by its surrounding environment or ecology. This ecology encompasses social, political, economic, and historical factors. We'll study these historical factors now. Consequently, administration is both a shaper and a product of its ecological context. So when it says that ecological approach to the study of administration, that means what? Ecology is affecting the administration and administration is affecting the ecology. Are you able to understand? It is not a one-way transaction. It is a two-way transaction. In the evolution of states, governments actively utilize administration through various welfare programs. Yes, and non-developmental programs such as justice, taxation, law and order, etc. This demonstrates how administration serves as a tool to impact its surrounding ecology. Okay, so ecology impacts administration, administration impact or shapes ecology. You are able to understand this, right? We'll move forward on this point only. Okay. Now, this analysis of ecological approach of bureaucracy. There is a person named Lucian Pai. Yes, Lucian Pai will say Pai explored the concept of equality and hierarchy from social and political viewpoints. He noted that modern administration often aligns with Max Weber's bureaucratic model. What was that? That was a pyramidal model, hierarchy. Pai will say, I'll just shortenly explain you things, then we'll read. Lucian Pai will say that Weber developed this administrative system, his hierarchic Weberian bureaucracy. Where was this developed and for what countries was this developed? Developed countries, Western countries. Lucian Pai will say because this structure of Weberian bureaucracy, this structure is everywhere. But Weber developed this keeping in mind developed countries, West. Even though the structure is everywhere, it only is successful in developed countries. That means structurally, developing countries have Weberian bureaucracy, but it does not function like a Weberian bureaucracy. Why so? What is it about Weberian bureaucracy that is very important, that is not possible in prismatic societies? Or rigidity. No, rigidity is possible. But what is happening in a prismatic society that is not letting Weberian bureaucracy function? Online answer. Malintegration is a result of that. Of course, your answer is correct. Malintegration is there. But one thing that is very important, one feature of Weberian bureaucracy which is very important, but it is not being possible in prismatic society because of a feature called polycommunalism. Think, what is that feature of Weberian bureaucracy? What is the trademark feature of Weberian bureaucracy? Think about it. What is the trademark feature? What are the features? Tell me. Hierarchy is there then? Yes. Why is not impersonality applicable in prismatic society? Polyfunctionalism, huh? No, basically, whatever we studied Riggs right now, what is exactly Riggs saying? That administration is affected by society. So administrators are not behaving exactly what that structure wants them to behave like. They are behaving according to what society they belong to. So they are not acting impersonally. They are acting according to their more ethnic identity, their caste identity, whatever identity there is. So this impersonality as a feature of Weberian bureaucracy is not being possible in prismatic societies. Are you able to understand this? Logically, you are able to understand whatever we studied under Riggs? Guys online, are you able to understand? Understand this logic very well. ठीक है. Impersonality. Okay. Now, when it comes to Weber's features, okay, don't think Weber's features is only in public administration. You very well use them in ethics. Okay, your answers will be enriched 10 times if you write somebody like Weber, write somebody like Maslow, write somebody like Herzberg. Okay, write somebody like whatever Chester Bernard you write his theory. Their ideas you write, it suddenly get enhanced. That means impersonality is not possible in prismatic society. Lucian Pai's research, Weberian bureaucratic model, he noted that modern administration all over the world often align with Weber's bureaucratic model characterized by impersonality and a clear distinction between an individual's public and private life. Understood? Public and private life. Publicly, you are a public servant, your private life and your private identity is different. That means you are acting impersonally in a Weberian administration. But Pai's research in developing and developed societies revealed that Weberian bureaucratic principles function effectively in developed nations, where administration is both structurally and functionally Weberian. Understood? However, in developing societies, structures are Weberian. Their functions often deviate because there is no impersonality. This leads to differing expression of hierarchy and inequality in these two types of society. Now, then comes in the salacracy, then comes in the bazaar canteen model. Show me the man, I'll tell you the price. Because price is not the same for everybody. When the price will be same? When impersonality is practiced. Understood? Okay. In developed societies, which are typically consumerist, homogeneous, and individualistic, Weberian concept of impersonality thrives as personal and public sphere remain separate. Western societies are very individualistic in nature, don't you think? People live very differently, etc., etc. Plus, consumerist culture is there. That means uh, the feeling of community is very much less. Communal identity is very much less. And homogeneous population is there. For example, in India, if everybody belonged to one caste and one religion only, one caste and one religion, do you think polycommunalism will be there? No. Because diversity is there, people then want to favor to their own community whenever something comes up. That is the logic, or what else is it? That is why in developing countries, especially in countries like India, because there are so many diversities, this Weberian principle of impersonality is very tough to implement. That is what Lucian Pai is saying. So whenever writing an answer, you give this perspective also when it comes to ecological approach. So these concepts will be used in multiple types of answers. They won't directly ask you that what Lucian Pai said. This will be used in different ideas. So after multiple revisions, these things will kept in your mind, and once you write answers, it will get better. Conversely, in polycommunal developing societies, administrative personnel often bring their ethnic identities and values into their roles, making impersonality and impartiality challenging due to blurred lines between personal and public responsibilities. Basically, uh, these personnels, these civil servants, public servants, they behave according to their own communal identity. Yes. Do you have water, any of you? गला भी खराब हो जाएगा. हाँ, ठीक है. Now, influence on administration. That how is this administrative systems getting influenced? We know that ecological approach, they are influencing the administration, but how exactly? What are the examples of this? Okay, how do we write? Actually, what do we write in an answer? How does political system influence administration? Now, if the political system is corrupt, we saw administration will be corrupt. If the political system is very strict, okay, very focused on delivering good governance, administration will be like that only. In what kind of polity? Administration will follow the politics in what kind of polity? Yes, balanced polity. Yes. political system. Fredericks, a proponent of ecological approach, illustrated that a patrimonial political system or a charismatic leadership system typically leads to a patrimonial administrative system. Understood? Conversely, a responsible and competent political system fosters an accountable bureaucracy. How does society and economy affect it? Ecological approach demonstrates the significant influence of societal and economic factors on administration. So Lucian Pai will say here, see, their explanation is this. Hamza Alvi's explanation. So this explanation is this. We'll read after that. Funny. Ah, historical context. What is happening in historical context? You remind me to put this under this, or else I'll. You just understand this, huh? Because it's a long explanation. That's why I separated this in the first place. Historical context. Do you think history also affects administrative system? India has a colonial history. Huh? The police was created to control and repress Indian population. So it still carries some of that tradition. History plays a crucial role. For example, Russia's centralized administration evolved from its Tsar's monarchy. In India, administration is very much decentralized in nature. So district magistrate are responsible for each and every district that is there according to their own. But Russia is very centralized in nature because of a monarch was ruling there. Tsar monarchy. Similarly, British administration is characterized by liberal, democratic, and dialogue-based principle. That means in Britain, with time, a lot of developments have happened when it comes to people, industrial revolution, businesses trying to bring some changes, investments coming up. That means the British administration was very much favoring ease of doing business, okay? Letting business act. That was why very liberal and democratic in nature. However, in Germany and France, they are more disciplined, rigid, institutionalized because they were used by the monarchy to control the state or the government. Plus, they were used by the monarchy to carry out welfare measures. British administration was more focused on letting business do their job. But in France, Germany, these are continental systems. Okay, these are continental systems, so their focus was more on order. Okay, more on so this is where that idea of new Weberian state will come up. We read it under post NPM developments, new Weberian state. This is why here all of those things came up. They're more focusing on order in the society. Now, this society and economy's effect on this, especially economy's effect. See, Gunnar Myrdal and Hamza Alvi. You know Gunnar Myrdal? He was the one who gave that idea of soft state. Yes, Gunnar Myrdal. He's the guy. And Hamza Alvi. Okay. They discussed the expansion of state in post-colonial era. First, let me explain you very briefly, and then we'll read what is there. What kind of society was there before NPM movement? What kind of government was there? What was the criticism? What was something that NPM was trying to solve? New public management was trying to solve. What was it trying to solve? Anishka, Rabe, Moise. Online, Takshashila. What was NPM trying to solve in the government? New public management. Bloatedness. Okay. Hmm. But what is the term? I'm looking for a particular term. What is the opposite of competition? Monopoly, na? Bloatedness, monopoly. Then welfareism. Yes. What else? Moise, what were you writing? Inefficient bureaucracy. Yes. But we'll come to that. Inefficient bureaucracy. Now tell me something. This kind of state, pre-NPM state, take the example of India only. That this welfare state inconsistency. Yes, inconsistency is also a feature, but let's take these three things. This kind of state is a huge state. This state does everything. From salt to steel, everything the state is doing. It is doing welfare, it is trying to do business, etc. etc. It is a huge state. It is an expansive state. Pre 1991 India, LPG reforms India, this was the kind of state that was going on. Banks are nationalized, everything is in that way. Now tell me something. State is big, but do you think India had a lot of money? No. So state is big in nature, but when it comes to resources, how much was the resources? Very low resources. Now Moses' idea will come in. When the state is huge, but a resource is very less, that means this expansion will not able to be effective in nature. That means inefficiency will be there. Money is less because society is poor, economy is poor, and state is big. It's leading to what? If the state does not have money, will it be able to employ highly skilled people? Because it won't have money to make people skilled. So essentially, what is happening? Let's see. State is big, economy is small. So the effect of this is what is happening to skill development? Low, low skill development. This leads to what? Low. If you don't have skilled people, if human development is low, okay? Human development index, for example, if HDI is low, what is this leading to? If companies, huh? Less modernity, etc., etc., that means this low is making the economy small. Because it is a small economy, because economy is weak because of lack of human capital, yes, low productivity, fantastic. Because economy is weak, productivity is low. Because productivity is low, state has less money, and state is acting inefficiently. This inefficiency is leading to a weak economy. This is becoming a, what kind of cycle is this? Vicious cycle is this. This is a vicious cycle. Weak economy, weak state. So if there is a strong economy, strong state, because economy is small, economy is weak, that is why state has to be big. If economy is strong, economy is high, state can be small, and still things will go on. This is the vicious cycle that was going on. Now let's imagine a developed country like at that time, for example, England or Germany, yes, or Japan. For example, let's take Japan or let's take UK, whatever. Economy was what? Strong. That means more money to skill people. Skill development happens. Yes. State can employ these skilled people. State can be efficient. And this efficiency led to more economic growth. This is what? A virtuous cycle. Understood? Basically, Hamza Alvi and Gunnar Myrdal will say the problem of this high productivity, high skilledness is basically the economy is strong, the state is small but strong. Economy is highly productive. State is small but very strong state, lean but strong state. State is able to afford lot of development and it is acting very efficiently because it has skilled manpower. Because it has skilled manpower, it is leading to efficiency, and this efficiency is empowering the economy to grow more. Are you able to see? This virtuous cycle is happening. Understood? Online, are you all able to understand? Perfect. Now let's see what actually Alvi will say. Alvi's complaint is these developing countries have overgrown states. States are bloated. These overgrown states are very inefficient in nature, obviously, because the economy is weak. Hamza Alvi characterized such states as overgrown and overdeveloped. Overdeveloped, they have used this term, that means bloated. Wherever the state is not needed, still the state is there. That will just go into everything in both size and operations. This resulted in weak markets and limited resource generation. If the state is in every sector, that means market is not there. If it is monopolized, market is not there. That means weak economy, significantly hindering their capacity to generate revenue. That means if state is everywhere in monopoly, that means markets do not have agency to generate revenue. They're not in any sector. Where will they generate revenue? Where will the state get taxes? It won't get. During the post-colonial era, these states faced high demand but had very limited revenue generation capacity. Understood? This disparity between expensive responsibility and scarce resources created a self-reinforcing vicious cycle. That we have a lot of responsibility, but we have very less money. So we are doing everything inefficiently and not letting the market grow. This led to that vicious cycle. No market, less money, less skilled manpower, inefficient administration. Inefficient administration everywhere means there is monopoly, there is no economic growth, no room for market to grow. This was the problem of overgrown state. Hamza Alvi is saying. Lack of resources and human capital, insufficient resources prevented the state from hiring top talent, leading to brain drain. Why was people all trained people in India and in all the technical subjects moving to US at that time? Still they are moving to the US. Why? The brain drain is happening because of India does not have the institution or the market to pay that much amount of money to that much amount of human capital. Limited funds for skill training also hampered human resource development, perpetuating the use of outdated technology. Understood? So we can't afford new technologies, can't afford top talents. This is a problem. This severely diminished the state and administrative's ability to deliver. What do we call this kind of a state who are not able to deliver on their policies? Soft state. This is where Gunnar Myrdal's idea will come. Why India is a soft state. discretion, corruption, and inefficiency. The imbalance between demand and resources, that means there are a lot of demand and very less money, led to discretionary allocation. That means administration now decides who to give, who not to give. Show me the man, I'll tell you the price. This is where things are coming from. Discretionary allocation, which is often misused due to weak accountability structures. Here, impersonality is not actually very much happening. This fostered cooperation, nepotism, and clientism. With weak markets, the government became the primary employer. Pradhan Mantri Narega. Sorry, what Mahatma Gandhi Narega. That means government is becoming the primary employer, that we only employ people. There is no other employment opportunity. Everybody is after government jobs. So that is why this India is very much represented here. Primary employer resulting in an oversized workforce. So everybody wants to be a part of the government. Now government in their before elections, they bring out a lot of seats to be filled. That means government is bloated in nature, resulting in oversized workforce that are often underskilled and inadequately trained. You have seen how government clerks work, government offices work. This environment becomes a breeding ground for corruption, administrative inefficiency, and further this weakens revenue. Why? Because the businesses which want to come in and do business, it is hampered because the businessman, half of the time his time is gone in getting licenses in government offices. How will he do business? So ease of doing business reduces because of this. Yes, this is the idea of red tapeism that we read. Now you are able to understand how actually things are becoming this imbalanced in nature. Still growing. I mean, 7.5% growth rate is happening. हाँ, 6.5-7% तो हो ही रहा है real GDP growth after 2021 since. But that is very less. We at least need 12% to every year to reach, to actually use the demographic dividend and become a developed country. Else we'll be stuck in the middle income trap. 7.57% is very less. And because of the recent tariffs, 0.5% growth rate has been affected. It's good in the long run that we'll have diversified exports. In one economy, we are not dependent. It will be good only. Yeah, the year after COVID, we had about 15%, but that was because in COVID, our economy contracted. So basically, it was the bounce back that happened. That is 15%, but actually, not in normal times, we haven't grown. Because the economy, this was the U-shaped recovery that is said. You'll read in GS3 and in economics that Indian economy contracted, then it bounced back. Okay, so this was the bounce back. So this was the U-shaped recovery or V-shaped recovery that is said. So this from here to here, the calculation was about 15 or 17%. But this was again coming at the normal level. So it took us 2 years to come back to the normal level. But after that, 6.5%, 7%, that growth rate is happening. And eventually, the global demand or global economy is slowing down because trade relations are getting affected a lot. That's why the problem is there. Huh. Weakened economy and maladministration. See, I have explained this. A struggling economy contributed to poor administration. That means lowly skilled labor. And conversely, poor administration further weakened the economy. That means not well-trained administration. This led to no ease of doing business, no ease of doing business, no money, no skilled labor, no well-trained administration. The lack of resources also led to understaffing in critical sectors like healthcare and education. So the problem now, Alavi and Mirdal will say The problem is government was overstaffed in areas that needed understaffing. No, I'll come to that. Government is not putting people in agriculture. Government was understaffed in places where government should have been more staffed. It was overstaffed where it should have been less staffed. Basically, when Indian private sector had the power or had the capacity to produce goods and services, you should have let them produce goods and services, and you should have bring out your resources from there and put it into health and education. Because till today, there is no adequate amount of teachers. Very less doctors are there. Whoever are there, they are not sitting in primary clinics, health centers. Teachers are not going to school. The quality of education is very bad. So whatever, when it comes to resource allocation of the government, rather than focusing on running PSUs, where private sector can very well take over and deliver services, you focus there, you overstaffed there, but you understaffed in the regions of education and healthcare. That became a significant problem. Understood? So this approach of the government, this drew in significant criticism from Medal and Alavi. So this led to what? This led to crowding out the private sector totally. If Tata can run Air India with 5,000 employees, the government was running it with 7,000 employees. It's the tax money that is being paid to 2,000 employees. Plus, there is a lot of inefficiency that is there, bureaucracy that is involved. That means you are overstaffing it there, putting in resources there. So the day Air India was sold, every day before that, Air India was losing about 30-35 crores every day. Every day, that much amount of tax was lost while running Air India. That means that is a huge revenue. So in 10 days, that's 300 crores. In 1 month, that's 900 crores. In 1 year, how much is that? 12 lines are 108. That means more than 10,000 crore. That is 1/10 of Delhi's budget. Can you see that how much losses are happening? So for how long did Air India function like this? Since 20 years it functioned like this. So imagine this much amount of loss, about 1.5 lakh to 2 lakh crore of losses while running an airline. That was not always that much, but still you can imagine the amount of losses that it was going through. That means you are putting in tax revenue that much there, and your capex is going down. Capex is capital expenditure. So you are spending 10,000 crores in staffing people in places where people do not need the government. Because Air India, the price when it was under the government, its price was much higher than Indigo and Vistara. You must have seen. It was about, 1,000 rupees higher than Indigo and Vistara. That means you are not providing services at the best of quality, and the prices are higher. That means you are paying taxpayers money and taxpayers are not getting the services. That is why you need to get government out of there. You have to put government in areas where government is actually needed. Healthcare, education, certain strategic sectors, security, law and order. That is why you need them. Judiciary. In judiciary, in subordinate judiciary, 30% vacancy when it comes to subordinate judiciary. So estimation happened, there is an economist, his name is Karthik Muralidharan. Okay, will in paper 2, we'll read him. We'll read his ideas. We'll write down his ideas, his data. Basically, Karthik Muralidharan will say for every rupee spent on recruiting a judge, so any amount that is spent on recruiting the judge, it will open up almost 15 times that amount of capital. That is the amount of multiplier effect. Basically, if you are spending 1 lakh rupee to recruit and pay a judge to be there, that will open up almost 15 lakh rupees. How so? Karthik Muralidharan will explain that in the courts of India, in lower courts of India, lot of land and capital are locked in litigation there. That means businesses can't happen till the time those there are about 5 crore cases pending. So that means lot of land, capital, everything is what do you say, is locked up in subordinate courts and litigation. If you bring in more judges, then efficiently remove those things. I mean, free up those things. That means you are able to free that amount of capital. That amount of capital, when it is freed, it comes into the economy. It is invested. Businesses happen. Money is exchanged. That means economic growth happens. So it has a significant amount of multiplier effect. It has more multiplier effect than investing in infrastructure. That is why Karthik Muralidharan, an economist, will say that that is the importance of recruiting subordinate judiciary, or filling up subordinate judiciary. Okay. Now let's continue. Resulting in under administration or maladministration. In contrast, developed countries exhibit a virtuous cycle, you all know. Skilled manpower leading to efficient administration and well-developed accountability structure. And already those markets were strong. So government is lean and efficient and powerful, and market is very much strong. These nations did not experience the issues of an overdeveloped states or overgrown state, maladministration or under administration. Everything was adequately resourced and managed. Okay. Did I explain George Orwell's story last time? That how society influences? Now we have seen how economy is influencing. Now this is how society is influencing the administration. Basically, George Orwell, you know, have you heard about it? He's a writer. Uh, so Orwellian state, it is usually used to talk about a autocratic state. He wrote a book called 1984. Yeah, Orwell, George Orwell. Read about him. Go and read about it at your home. Read about him. It will be very much useful in essays and ethics also. Ah, he wrote a book called Variety of Police Behavior. Orwell was there in Myanmar. He was part of the British administration. He went to Myanmar. Now, what is this story, or what is this idea of a police sahib? Under British, if a British policeman is there, he should be strong, resolute. He should be ruthless in nature. He should not be soft and we have feelings towards things. He should be strong and resolute. That is how you command something. Yes. Now they were there. I guess I will discuss this. There was an elephant that was. So that means Orwell did not want to kill that elephant, but that elephant had come in, or they have gone on an expedition. That elephant was there. Now they, I guess, went hunting to do something. The elephant was there. Orwell did not want to kill, but society's expectation is what kind of a police officer it should be. It should be resolute in nature. It should be without feelings. That is why Orwell had to shoot the elephant. That is how society is influencing administration through social expectations. Had to kill the elephant to maintain the image during a hunt. Orwell mentions that in his article that police behavior is more affected by and in reciprocation with social norms rather than legal norms. They follow what society asks them to do rather than law. For example, police does not arrest rioters, or they give easy treatment to some khap panchayats, whenever that khap panchayat is doing something illegal. Yes. So police behavior is very much reflective of their own social identities. Feral heading. Feral Heddy's explanation addresses how history can influence the administrative system. He also talks about something called history. So he gave these two examples, that Tsar and British one. Before he gave these examples. Okay? Now Feral Heddy is the second theorist whose theory we read after Fredericks. Okay? Feral Heddy will have a lot of explanations about what kind of societies and administrative systems there are. Okay? Attributes of less developed societies and political administrative systems. Okay? You will all will very easily understand this after reading Lucian Pye and Gunnar Myrdal. Heddy's general characteristics of less developed systems are they are socially, culturally, and politically heterogeneous entities. Are you able to understand? They are not homogeneous. In less developed countries, they are heterogeneous in nature. Different cultures are there. So socially, culturally, and politically heterogeneous. There are different cliques that are being formed. What are these cliques? Club plus sect. Yes. So sectarian identities have come together to carry out some secular goals. That is clique. For example, you and me come from the same community. For example, we come together and we have certain grievances against the government. Nothing related to our identity, but we come together because of our identity. We make a group because of our identity, and we demand the government to do something for us or the local administration to do something for us. Basically, we are coming together according to our communal identities, but we are pushing an agenda which is secular in nature. Understood? That is clear. The political administrative, sorry. Hence, they are administratively heterogeneous in nature, these societies. These politico administrative systems are overburdened in nature because there is excessive dependence on these systems. They are overburdened because overgrown state. So don't just read one scholar. Every scholar is interdependent with each other. The political administrative system of these societies are not indigenous in nature. I have explained this before. They are endogenetic in nature. They have come from outside. Sorry, exogenetic. Exogenetic in nature. They are mostly imitative of their colonial past. These systems are manned by less skilled and inadequately trained manpower. Yes. Farrell Heddy identifies something called dualism in political administrative system. Dualism means formalism. What is being preached and what is being practiced is different. That is dualism. Same as Frederick's idea, but different term used by Farrell Heddy. Something that Riggs referred to as formalism, that is disparity between prescribed and what is practiced. Administration enjoys larger autonomy and there is an absence of sound accountability. Accountability is less in these developing countries. Administrators do whatever they want to do. Corruption and high-handedness are features of this. These systems are manned by outdated tools and techniques. Understood? Why outdated tools and techniques? Because they don't have money to bring in skilled labor and skilled other technologies. Now, what are the attributes of more developed societies? Opposite of all of this, balance systems. Yes, role of executive, judiciary, and legislature are very clear. That means there is coordination and integration that is happening between them. Highly skilled and trained manpower. New technologies are there because they can afford it. Accountability and answerability is there to people. Higher collaboration and association with the private sector. You are letting the market to prosper and generate more revenue. Yes? Okay. Dilution of differences since 1990s. This difference between developed and developing countries has started to dilute since the last 30 years. We have witnessed more and more dilution of differences between systems across the world. This is what Hedy is saying, Farrell Hedy is saying this. Now the systems have been moving towards a more networking approach. This differentiation between state and market is less now. What we are moving towards? Good governance. In good governance, what is the primary feature? There is networked approach. State, market, and civil society. This network approach is there. All are adopting technology, and adoption has also led to this dilution of differences. A group of theorists such as Jerry Sala, Palmer, Jabra conducted studies in Northern Africa and Central Asia, and findings are consistent with Hedy and Hamza Alavi on problems plaguing these societies. Whatever problems Alavi and what was his name? Gunnar Medal. So they also found out the same thing when it comes to North Africa, and that developing countries, Weberian systems are not working. Yes, not developed system. So that overgrown state is there, and market is very weak in nature. Dualism, overburdened, imitative of their colonial past, exogenetic, etc., all are written here. See, now his second part of his theory. So briefly, he gave Hedy is giving the idea of how whatever Riggs explained when it comes to prismatic society and diffracted society, these differences in a different language altogether. So Hedy might be differently asked, or Riggs might be differently asked. Okay, these are the two things. Comparative public administration is a very important unit. After CPA, we will do something called DA, Development Administration. DA. After DA, we'll see what chronology to follow, because most then we'll do public policy. Public policy is very important. Then all conceptual things will be done. Then we'll do that accountability control, administrative law, etc. All will take 4 or 5 classes or 6 7 classes in total. Paper 1 will be done. Okay. Classic administrative systems. Example of this classic administrative systems is, for example, he gave 4 plus 6. So Hedy is giving a typology of administrative systems. So that he's saying there are 10 different administrative systems. 10 different. So you don't have to write all of them, etc. They won't be directly asked. They might be asked in a different way. 4 in developed and 6 in underdeveloped. First, let's see how it is happening in developed societies. Classic administrative system. That means administrative system of Germany, France. Weberian ideas. Basically, these societies have faced a lot of revolutions. France was French Revolution. Germany under Martin Luther during the Reformation, a lot of revolution happened. Basically, these societies have seen a lot of problems. But it is the administrative system that provided continuity to the government. That is why these are very mature administrative systems. This is the classic or the continental administrative system. So when it comes to continental administrative system, if you see the term, that means France and Germany. Continental. Characterized by political discontinuities, that is revolutions, but administrative continuity. They are disciplined, well-structured bureaucracy became a source of, so the disciplined, well-structured bureaucracy became a source of stability and enjoys high status. Their past has witnessed several political discontinuities in these systems, but the entire bureaucratic system has imparted continuity in them due to administrative system. Therefore, high status. Moreover, it is able to do so because It has a discipline and organizational structure. It is very disciplined in nature. He says that high-ranking members of administration frequently interchange their position with politics. This is another example of uh, merging of politics and administration. There is no dichotomy because there is interchanging. So, high-ranking bureaucratic officials are going into politics. Yes. Classic administration is done. Next comes civic culture administrative systems. UK, US. This is characterized by a gradual evolutionary political history. The administration is more democratic, decentralized, and based on bargaining and accommodation. Basically, whatever US and UK we read, there was less revolution there. There was more evolutionary aspect that they wanted to bring in businesses, etc., etc. That is why the political history is not very disrupted. In England, a lot of revolution happened, or not a lot of disruption happened. The administration is more democratic and decentralized in nature and based on bargaining and accommodation. Bargaining with the businesses, with the market. They wanted to promote this civic culture system. Then there are modernizing system. So administrative systems are acting as service providers. That is in Japan is an example. All of these examples are Ferrell Heddy's examples. Don't write examples on your own. Okay. The public sphere is viewed primarily as a service provider to people. There is a strong emphasis on honesty, efficiency, and delivering services to the people. Yes. Then comes communist system. Former USSR is an example. That is what Ferrell Heddy gave. Characterized by a single party political system and a highly centralized administrative system based on the principle of democratic centralism. Basically, single party at a centralized level is acting like this. At present, we also see China forming like this. It's communist system. Right? Single party structure doing everything. But don't write the example of China. Only USSR. Whatever is written here, only write that because this is what Heddy is writing. We can't write in his answer our own present examples. If only Heddy is being asked. Systems in less developed society, 6 more systems. Traditional autocratic systems. Wherever there is traditionally they are autocratic, there is no revolution. Traditionally there is monarchy which has turned into autocracy. Saudi Arabia, UAE, Qatar, you all know. Highly centralized system where there is no room for political activity. No political activity is there. Just monarchic head controlling the administration. There is no political party, no election, etc. etc. The administration is loyal to the monarch. It is a regime administration, not a people's administration. That is why traditional autocratic system. It's a regime administration. Bureaucratic elite system. This is what Heddy is giving examples of Thailand and Myanmar. This is Heddy's example. Bureaucratic elite system, systems where military bureaucratic elite exercises control, often after a military takeover. With the support of the civil bureaucracy, political activity is suppressed. What kind of a polity is this? Imbalanced polity. That is why Myanmar, it was very easy for the junta to take over, the military to take over and rule the civilian bureaucracy and rule the civilian politicians. This is why, because of this culture. Now it is more and more easier. Now we can see actually the effects of these theories. Okay. Polyarchal competitive system ruled by many. There are democratic systems that politically resemble those in the West with multiple political parties, a politically neutral bureaucracy, and peaceful transfer of power. That means basically a multi-party system running. Dominant party semi-competitive system. This is what Heddy gave India's example. At that time, use India's example and Congress system. India under the Congress system, and Mexico under the PRI. Constitutionally, these are multi-party democracies with regular elections. When was the first time a non-Congress party actually won an election in India? Yes, Morarji Desai government. After 30 years of independence, for the first time, a non-Congress government ruled for India. That too for very short time. After that, 96 Atal Bihari Vajpayee came for a year. Yes, this shows what kind of a one-party system India was. Congress was everything. Constitutionally, these are multi-party democracies. They were multi-party democracy. India was a multi-party democracy with regular election. Operationally, however, a single political party controls power for a very long period. That is Congress system and PRI under Mexico. Dominant party mobilizing system. Systems that were initially democratic but were a single party. After coming to power through popular processes, they monopolized it, eliminated political opposition, effectively turning the state into a dictatorial system. Basically, these guys got elected first through multi-party system. Once they are in power, turn that system into a autocracy. Okay. Dominant party mobilizing system. Examples are Ghana and Guinea. Ghana under Nkrumah is a better example. Then comes the communist system. Similar to the model in more developed societies, but operating in a less developed economic context. Examples are North Korea, Cuba, Vietnam. These are examples. So presently, Vietnam has grown very much, but at that time it was Vietnam also. Uh, Communist totalitarian systems. These are communist ideology, totalitarian control, centralized party state bureaucracy, limited pluralism. Basically, this is similar to whatever that one party system we read under USSR, but the economy is very weak. That is why this command economy is not working very well. Yes, so these were the six systems of Ferrell Hedy. Okay. Another thing that I wanted to discuss was uh, CPA is done with this. Unit 7 is complete now. Can you see what exactly is written else in Unit 7? Just Google it, you will see the syllabus. Google में देखिए exactly 7 में और क्या लिखा है. What is written? Show me the syllabus. Historical and sociological factor, you understand now how those societies and history is affecting. Administration, politics in different countries, current status of CPA, ecology and administration, Rigsian model and their critique. Ecology and administration, you understand. Rigsian model, you understand, and their critique. And current status of CPA. Na? Current state of CPA, let us discuss it again. Uh, what else is left after this? Very short things are left. Development dynamics we'll do tomorrow. Then after that we'll do public policy. Then we'll go back to accountability control, administrative law, whatever is remaining, personal administration techniques. These are only one or two classes each. 5, 6 classes will be good to go. Okay. इसका मैसेज आ रहा है? ये तो रहा ऑनलाइन तो बैठा है। चल नहीं रही तो क्लियर हूँ। We have discussed it very shortly actually, the present status. In the notes, I'll put in more substance to it. Uh, Akash is writing something. He's joining the live date of 7, so I thought the class is there. Okay, Akash, but you are attending the class, right? You are getting what I am saying. Okay, okay. That is what is important. ah. So, how, according to you, how do we see comparative public administration today? In Minobrook 3, there was something termed that study of administrative systems. The term was used around the world. Okay? That means answer starts from here. In Minobrook conference is very important for us. Now, from here onwards, how is comparative public administration relevant today? What is it showing? First, you expand on this. Where did I keep that notes? Significance and critique of CPA. Sorry, here it is. Significance means developing of science of administration. Yes. Enriching the discipline. Crucial theories. Understanding why government differ in different countries. Practical application. That means using best practices and adopting these best practices from different areas of the country. Presently, under good governance and globalization, under good governance and globalization, CPA is important. Why? Globalization is providing us some important insights into certain crucial governance practices. How do we deal with wicked problems today? We need to collaborate for that. Only one thing can't work. So when it comes to networked approach, all of the different countries should also form a network. Yes, such as the Paris Climate Deal, okay? The what do you say? Sustainable Development Goals. So these things will also study under development administration, and development administration will be an answer to that also. Yes. So basically, have a broad idea that how is comparative studies of different countries helping us today. How is it helping? We are adopting their best practices into the government. We are delivering certain goods and services to them. So basically, if, for example, Japan is providing us technology for bullet trains, that means what? We are bringing in best practices from there to improve public services here. This means this is also a comparative study that how their administration of railway is happening and our administration should happen? Yes. Similarly, if foreign companies are going ahead and delivering some services in some countries, we ask them to deliver the same here. Yes. For example, Tesla wants to deliver what is it? Their internet service. What is it called? What is this Tesla internet service? Guys online? Arey, those lower orbital satellites they have, they'll give satellite in every area. Basically, uh, Starlink, yes. Movies, it's Starlink. So Starlink example. So how do you provide Starlink? How do you provide internet in areas where infrastructure is very tough to build, telecom infrastructure, such as Northeast, all the Himalayan states? Okay, that is Starlink. Similarly, if there are certain island countries which has significant amount of forest and tribal population, such as the Andaman and Nicobar Islands, if you build a lot of infrastructure there, that means problem will happen. So that is why here you provide those solutions. This is what comparative public administration is studying in these days. It is studying different technologies, tools, and techniques to improve. Okay. So in your notes, I'll put in other things also. So this thing I'll send it to you guys today or by tomorrow. I'll send it to the admin team today only. You guys will get it as soon as possible. Okay. Tomorrow we'll do DA. Start with DA. Any questions till now? Anything you want to discuss? Anything you want to discuss, guys? Online? Impersonality का क्या मतलब होता है? तुम मान लो एक डिस्ट्रिक्ट के एसपी हो, ठीक है, रायट चल रहा है, तुम जिस भी रिलीजन के हो, एज एन एसपी ऑफ दैट डिस्ट्रिक्ट, should you favor one side or the other? Neutral? What does that mean? No, that does not mean impersonal. That means whatever your identity is, your own religious identity, or whatever your personal identity is, you are leaving behind that personal identity and acting in public interest. Basically, impersonality means leaving behind your own personality. Impartial. Partial, impartial. Personality, impersonality. Impersonal bureaucracy. This impersonality has a lot of problems, such as the problem of iron cage that Weber talks about. You get stuck into that public interest and that public office so much, you leave yourself behind. So there is a distance between who you really are and who you are acting to be. That is why for a person it becomes very tough. So this leads to alienation from oneself. So this is called iron cage of bureaucracy. That once you are inside that iron cage, you are not able to come out to meet your own personal, what you actually want to. Yes. So you become very much rule bound rather than goal bound. This becomes a impersonality. Eventually, would become a very much of a what do you say? A downside of Weberian bureaucracy. समझ आ गया impersonality क्या है? Acting without your personal belief systems. So leaving behind whatever personal things you have, identity you have, and acting in a public spirit. That is impersonality. Okay.